welcome to this week's AI-generated sermon podcast. Titled Total Commitment, No Half Measures, Peter Williams brought us the message in two parts, looking at commitment, how individuals respond to Jesus' call, and then the freedom of Christ. Enjoy, God bless you, and see you next time.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. We take your sources and we really try to pull out the key nuggets of knowledge for you.
That's the goal.
So today we're diving into some material about, well, total commitment.
Or as the source itself puts it, no half measures.
Right. And while our main source is actually a sermon, these ideas about dedication, about unwavering commitment, they feel pretty universal, don't they?
Oh, absolutely. It applies way beyond just a spiritual context. We're looking at examples from history, from text, to really unpack what this kind of commitment actually looks like.
And it's not just about sticking with something, is it?
No, it's also about foresight, about ensuring things continue. Succession, we'll get into that.
Okay, sounds good. So let's unpack this with, well, a huge example from the Old Testament, Moses.
Moses.
Yeah. When you hear that name, what comes to mind first? Maybe the Ten Commandments, or just being, in the right place at the right time.
Well, the source pushes us past those surface thoughts. It highlights the nuance. Yes, celebrated prophet, lawgiver, but his journey was complex.
How so?
Well, he was involved in conflict. He wasn't perfect. Remember the burning bush experience? That pivotal moment?
Of course, where he got his divine mission.
Exactly. And he was this crucial link between God and the people. But the source points out he didn't always, let's say, follow instructions perfectly.
And here's where it gets really fascinating for me. Despite this massive role, his general obedience, he was disqualified. He couldn't enter the promised land himself.
Right. Seems like a paradox, doesn't it? How does that fit with total commitment?
Exactly. What does that mean?
Well, this is where the idea of foresight comes in. The source notes Moses was deeply concerned that all the work, God's work, would just fizzle out without a successor.
So he didn't just finish his part of the job.
No, he thought beyond himself. He actually proactively asked God to appoint Joshua, made provision for the next leader, someone to lead, to fight, to care for the people.
So ensuring the work continued. That was part of his commitment.
That's the argument. A deeper level of commitment, not just to his own task, but to the mission itself, making sure it outlived him.
That's quite a lesson in leadership, really. And legacy. The source suggests this pattern. Pray, select, develop, commission.
Yeah, preparing others.
It shows great leaders aren't just goal-focused, they're people-focused too. Setting up the next runner, even when their own race is ending.
Exactly. It's not just about your lap, it's about the whole relay. Think about that in terms of, building a team or a project or maybe a community group.
Right. Okay, so let's shift gears a bit. The sources also make us think about how we respond when we're called to commit deeply to something important.
Yeah, and maybe, is it harder now to really commit with everything pulling at our attention?
That's a good question, and the source warns, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Once you are committed.
Oh, yeah. The going can get tough. That's a direct quote.
And the strength to keep going, where does that come from?
Well, the source mentions the Holy Spirit. We could understand that as perhaps divine help or maybe a deep inner resilience, that sort of fortitude that carries you through the really hard times.
There's also that compelling story from the Gospel of Luke about Jesus.
Ah, yes, his determination.
Right, heading to a Samaritan village, even though it was dangerous, facing opposition. He was bringing his message to non-Jewish people, too.
Gentiles. Oh.
And his resolve, his commitment to his Father's will, despite the cost. It's presented as, well, a model for total commitment.
But here's another crucial point the source brings up from that story. Not everyone was ready.
Ready to follow.
Right. Some people were super enthusiastic, like, yes, let's go. But Jesus actually had to kind of dampen their excitement a bit.
Really? Why?
He pushed this count the cost idea, basically saying, hold on. Do you understand what you're signing up for? The sacrifices, the challenges?
It's not just about initial passion, it's about informed dedication.
Exactly. True commitment requires understanding the full picture before you jump in. It's quite different from how we often operate today, looking for the easy path.
So, wrapping this up, this deep dive into total commitment, into no half measures, It really does give us a lot to think about.
It certainly does. It forces us to ask ourselves, what are the real costs you might need to count for your big commitments?
And maybe, what succession provisions do you need to think about to make sure what matters most truly lasts?
Yeah, ensuring it reflects no half measures right to the end and beyond.
Definitely something to mull over.